Hey there, in this video we're going to cover off how you can set up a decision node and some quirks that you need to really be aware of if you're not yet, and how we can also segment and make sure that we're only offering the right things to the right people. So let's get stuck into it. So thanks so much for joining. It's Mandy from Streamline for Success, and I wanted to quickly show you a couple of things to be mindful of when you set up your decision nodes, and some cool things taking this to the next level of how you might want to implement this in Campaign Builder. So let's just say we have a free offer that we've got happening here. Let's just go free offer, and we might bring them in here. And then ultimately the goal is with the free offer, we might want to promote our a product or service, right? And let's just pretend that it's a low-cost product or service. So basically anyone coming in here, we don't know yet if they have this or not. So before we go and offer them the next step or start promoting the next step, we actually really should be checking to see if they've already got it or not, right? So how you can do this is you can add another sequence here, and we want to promote, let's just say, our VIP program, or we don't want to promote, don't promote VIP. So I want you to start thinking about where in potentially some of your campaigns, or maybe you're considering setting up a new one, where might this be relevant for you, and where might you be able to put this in place so that you're not speaking to people about something that they already have or something that they potentially won't ever want. So this is important to understand your database and the tags and ways that you're using it to help segment and work out who should be included in here or not. So I've made up the scenario here that for our VIP program, I mean, we wouldn't be promoting that from a free offer, but it's just an example that we have a tag assigned to all of those current customers who are on that plan or on that program. So we've got that tag happening in a different campaign. And then let's just say we're using Infusionsoft as a CRM, as I highly recommend that you do if you're not already. And we have a bunch of suppliers in our database as well. So it probably doesn't make sense that, the offer might be really great and they might get value out of it, but they're probably never going to be a client of ours for our VIP program, as an example. So what we can do here is set up this decision node. So you may have noticed before, let me just take that back for a second. To create a decision node, you want to connect up one element with the first one, and then it's a matter of connecting up the second one, and then it automatically gets created. I know that stumps a lot of new users, but that's how you actually go ahead and do it. And you can create more things in there, and it'll just add it to the decision node. So big tip here too, don't copy a decision node. Say if you've got this sequence, you want to copy it, duplicate it, and set it up again. I have seen some errors happen with copying a decision node, so I would highly recommend just set it up again at this stage. So decision nodes are really, really powerful because it allows us to help the system work out which direction those people should go down that path. So we've got two different options here. So we want to tell the system who should go in this particular sequence and who should go into this next sequence, and so on and so forth. So to configure it, what we want to do is double click on it. And then you've got rules, and it's important to name the sequence before you come in here, because that really helps to make sure that you're setting up the right rules for the right sequence. So in this case, we want to promote our VIP program. In this sequence, we don't want to promote it. Now, I want to highlight this here. So by default, this sequence will always run. So if you don't configure any rules here, any contact, let me go back, any contact that comes through here will proceed further to that particular sequence. Let's just make it a scenario, send free gift. Let's just make it the scenario that we actually want to send a free gift to anyone that's come through here. in addition to potentially offering or not offering. So if that was the case, everyone wants to go in there. So we would double click into the decision node and send free gift. We wouldn't actually configure anything. So every single person that reaches that decision node will go in there, and then we can also tell the system where what are the rules in which they should go into that particular sequence. So they can actually go into 2 sequences or achieve, you know, 2 of those sequences after that decision node has been completed. So it's really, really powerful. We've used this in a bunch of scenarios, but I just wanted to kind of flag that. So let's go back in here. Let's configure the decision node and the rules for which contacts do we actually want to go into the Promote VIP program, and then which contacts do we want to go into the Don't Promote VIP. So if we double click in here, and this is really important if you haven't done a doesn't contain, this is really, really important, and it doesn't really logically make sense, but you've got to set it up a particular way, so you want to make sure you do that correctly. So if we want to promote this VIP program, we want to exclude any of our current VIP clients, and in this case we're using the scenario, we want to exclude any of our suppliers, okay? So we want to go and add a rule here, and we want to have a look if the contact, and we want to select the tag. In this case we're using tags to define the rules. So if the contact tag doesn't contain, right? Because if they are a VIP client, then they'd have that tag on them already. So what we're going to do is we're going to search for VIP and doesn't contain. So I'm going to start with this basic concept of we're excluding VIPs, and you know, we're not going to promote to the existing VIP. So I'll start that and then I'll add the supplier to it. So if we don't want to promote, so they already are an existing VIP client, we want to add a rule, and basically we want to do the opposite to this one. So we want to make sure if the contact tag contains VIP, then we're going to exclude them. We don't want to start talking to them about a program that they're already in, right? So it's always important here to kind of, if you've got these sort of 2 main options that you're passing people through, you should, in most cases, have an opposite so that the contact doesn't potentially go into both. Now there's other scenarios a bit more advanced where you might need to put them in both, but ultimately always kind of consider, all right, if it does contain this, they're going to go down here. If it doesn't contain, then they're going to go down this path, which is great. So this is one dimension, fairly straightforward, and we see this quite often. But if you start adding another tag or other kind of criteria to this rule, then this is where we really need to be careful about how we actually do it. So let's just say, let's use the supplier as an example. So we don't want to promote our VIP program to one of our suppliers. So if you are using, this is really, really important, if you are using this contains option, you can easily go, if the contact tag contains VIP or supplier, then put them in here. And we can use this or option. So go or, and let's go supplier. Yep, we've got supplier in there. So fairly straightforward. Now, you would think that this would be also the case in this doesn't contain. So if the contact tag doesn't contain VIP or supplier, then they'll move in here. Now, this is not the case, and this is really, really important that if you're using in any instance that you're using this doesn't contain, you need to use this and option because it won't work. Trust me, I've proven it many times, it doesn't actually work. So we need to tell the system if it doesn't contain this, and if the contact tag doesn't contain this separate tag, then we would put them into that particular sequence. So we'd be setting it up basically the same, except it's an and here. Supplier. Perhaps if I can spell. There we go. Whoop. Supplier. So if you have like a bunch of different criteria here, and it all doesn't contain. This is where you go and doesn't contain blah and doesn't contain blah. And then if it's the contains, it needs to be an or, right? So it's a little kind of quirk you need to be mindful of, but that's essentially how you have to set it up. Contains, you can use an or. Doesn't contain, you need to separate that out. So let me just recap quickly what we've done here. So what we've done is we've got a free offer out there. We're going to deliver it. There's going to be emails in there, and then all contacts. In this case, we don't have any other goal at the end at this point, but we want to check if they have, if they already have the VIP program or not. Because even if, and let's just use a scenario here, purchased VIP. If we're promoting in this sequence, the likely next goal would be, you know, they've purchased. There probably might be some other steps in there, but let's just keep it simple. So if they buy during this campaign, they're going to be pulled out. But what this decision node allows us to do, I should say, is checks before we start promoting, because they may already have been an existing customer just before they signed up, or 6 months ago, or anything like that. So that's kind of another reason why we do it at this point too, and not just use a tag goal to pull them out, because they may already be there. So contact will come in, they'll hit this decision node. Then they're going to be, you know, the Infusionsoft are going to check a couple of things. So the first thing is we're going to check, we go in here, for the people that we want to promote our VIP program to, they don't contain this VIP tag. So they're not an existing VIP customer, and they're not a supplier in this case. And then if we do, if we don't want to promote, it's kind of probably bad wording on my part, but if we don't want to promote, they're already a customer or they're already a supplier, so we would remove them and follow up with them a different way. And then if we wanted everybody to get something, then we would go ahead and not configure any rules, and they would all go and get that free extra kind of bonus gift there. And then, you know, you might have some emails in here promoting this next step. So if they go ahead and buy, then they'll achieve this goal and be removed from the promotion sequence. So just really kind of really important, make sure that you are setting up those decision nodes correctly with that doesn't contain. Don't use the or, use the and that should really help you make sure that they work. I do also recommend you test them out. Put contacts in there, make sure that you know, add them into this particular sequence and make sure that they're doing what, you know, what's been designed to do here. Particularly if you're just starting out and getting your head around the doesn't contain and contain. Have a couple of test contacts in there with those tags on or off, whatever you want to test, just to make sure that they go through as desired. It's better off you testing and making sure before it goes live, and then all of a sudden, you know, your VIP clients are getting promoted to join again. So that's really what I wanted to cover today. Decision nodes and some segmentation here that you can start really tailoring who you want to talk to with your different messages. So hope that's been helpful. Check out the link. There's some details below if you want to sign up for more Infusionsoft tips and support and help. We share a bunch of videos and resources to help you get more out of the software. So thanks so much. It's Mandy Brasser here from Streamline for Success, and wishing you a great day.